Hey everyone, I've got an experiment for you. If you love Uncrustables, stick around. So we are going to answer, is an Uncrustable just a frozen peanut butter jelly sandwich? For this experiment, I am using Pepperidge Farms home style oat. So first question is, maybe the cheaper one maybe a cheaper loaf of bread would be better for this. Something like white bread or maybe a honey oat. I can't remember what brands those are, but let's see what we can do here. I'm going to make two different kinds. I'm gonna cut the crust off of one and I'm gonna keep the crust on the other, since the Uncrustable has no crust. And then I'm gonna make sure to put peanut butter on both sides so that the jelly doesn't soak through the bread. So I'm gonna make this top one the one without a crust, since I didn't do as good of a job on doing the corners here. So I'll keep that small, and then here I will keep the crust on. So the Uncrustable has these like crimped ends to keep everything in. So alright, so I am kind of running into an issue here where if you crimp too hard, it starts to tear, as you can see right here. So something to be wary of if you crimp too hard. But see that on both sides, you can kind of see it fatten up in the middle. This one, because there's no crust, I'm not gonna crimp with my fingers, and I'm just gonna press down and hopefully keep it fat like an Uncrustable. That looks really good, actually. We'll bag this one up. Crimp it with the bag here. All right, and then this one, we gotta cut the edges off, or the crust off. So we're starting to tear a little bit here. All right, so first takeaway right now is that I probably spread peanut butter too much. I think one of the reasons we pay for an Uncrustable is because they don't butter the whole thing. Because now if I press it, some of the peanut butter will come out. So their yield is not as high because they're only buttering maybe 70% of their bread. But outside of that, this is also now looking pretty good. So let's see. So here's my crust one and the one without a crust. I'll throw them in the freezer and let's see how it goes. I'm making sure I'm laying them flat so that we give it a fair chance and it's not already folded up. All right, it is now the next day. So let's see how the peanut butter jelly sandwiches have done in the freezer. I'm gonna pull them out right now. All right, so straight out of the freezer, the bread is a little bit moist still. And then if I had to eat it as soon as possible, I think the peanut butter that is showing on the no crust is frozen in the crimped areas. But I think if I ate from the middle, it might be edible. But we're gonna let it thaw because that's what's on the Uncrustables instructions. And here is the one with a crust. I think because there is that crust, the peanut butter did not freeze over on the sides, and if you wanted to, you could probably rip out the crust portion and then eat it just like an Uncrustable. So we'll let these thaw for maybe 10 minutes and see how it goes. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like experiments like this and other food facts, please consider subscribing to the page. I appreciate it. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes now, 15 probably. Here's the one with no crust. It's nice and pliable. And there's the jelly. Here's the one with a crust. Also looking pretty good here. So I'm gonna go with the crust first for the name of science. The bread actually stayed pretty soft. I think my mistake here, too much jelly, not enough peanut butter. So I'll have to work on how to add more peanut butter when I'm doing this. I would say there's almost no difference, especially on the crust, which means the no crust is gonna be very promising. It's probably not worth the yield that you get with how much of the bread you'll have to throw away. But flawless. This is basically a Uncrustable. All said and done. Actually, this has enough peanut butter. So this one, I just did it much better. That's awesome. So taste and texture wise, I think it's all there. It tastes exactly like an Uncrustable, maybe even better if you have like a preference for more jelly or more peanut butter. But I think the only difference in what is worth paying for Uncrustables is the packaging. I think that if I kept the sandwich in this bag in the freezer for 3 weeks, I don't know that it would be protected from freezer burn or other texture degradations. So in this experiment, I think it's okay to freeze peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, especially if you have bread that's about to go bad or go past the expiration. But I wouldn't keep it in this type of sandwich bag. I would get one of those freezer bags, and I think that gives you the convenience at probably a cheaper price. So thanks for sticking around for that experiment. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of these peanut butter jelly sandwiches. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thanks.